What's up, beautiful people? Happy Monday. Welcome back to I Am Shakira TV. I am Shakira, your hostess with the mostest, and we are back for another segment of Mom Let's Talk. Hey, Mom.
Hey, pretty girl.
So, you guys, this is our first time going live as Mom Let's Talk. We wanted to do a live show with you all on today. That's why you probably didn't see an episode drop this morning. But nonetheless, we are here and we are ready to engage with you all. So, be ready for a treat. Get ready, get
Okay.
ready, get ready. It is the last day of March, you guys, Women's History Month, and we have been celebrating all month long. My mom's birthday, and today we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna conclude March with a sisterhood and support episode. So we're going to be discussing all the things why women need each other. And I want you to do me a solid one right now. Go ahead and share this with 5 sisters who need to be in the room because this is going to be a great conversation. And I believe that it will bring some revelation, courage. You will get a message out of this word today. So tune in, tap in, share with your sisters, encourage her to come and join. So then y'all can keep the conversation going outside of this live conversation. But for those of you who are tuning in who have never listened to an episode of Mom Let's Talk, I just want to let you know that it's a heartfelt and honest segment of Identify You podcast where my mother and I dive into deep conversations about all things life, faith, healing, and just the generational journeys that shape who we are today. So, you guys, we're celebrating our 13th episode today as well, and we're live doing it. How you feeling, girl?
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed. I've been getting so much knowledge, so much information. We reading this book, so I'm
Yeah,
excited about that. I'm really growing from it, and I couldn't have picked a better book at this season in my life.
I love it.
I'm
Cause it's a
excited.
new season. It's a new day. Fresh anointing coming your way. Y'all, if you don't know, my mom just celebrated her birthday. So she has turned a new chapter and ready for all that the Lord has. And just to let y'all know, the book that she is referencing is The Purpose Driven Life. If you never read it before, baby, run, don't walk. Okay. I should have got y'all a link so y'all can go and purchase it. But it's set up like a daily thing. So like day 1 through I think there's 42 days for you to be able to read it. So you can really dig in and understand the purpose for your life and understand life in general. It's such a blessing. It's so good. So yes, go get that book. But y'all, if you're tuning in, I want to know where you're from. Drop some comments down in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from so we can say hey to you. Hey, girl, hey. Because today is all about sisterhood and support. And we want y'all to be a part of the conversation. We're going to have like an engaging game later. So y'all engage with us, talk to us. But before we jump into the actual conversation today, I want to do like a little fun icebreaker. I love doing icebreakers on my shows. So we're going to
Me
jump into a
too.
little icebreaker, y'all. And it's called Mom versus Little Friend. So obviously that's my mom and I'm her little friend.
You play too much.
Y'all, we just get so tickled by that because if you know, and maybe if you're a millennial, you can really relate to this because growing up, you know how your parents used to be like, I ain't one of your little friends. Well, look how them tables turn.
Now she my little friend.
So, you guys, this is going to be a hilarious and engaging game where we answer questions about friendship and support. And my mom is going to share from her perspective while I share from my generation's perspective, how we see it, which are millennials. Okay. And the goal is to just see how perspectives on sisterhood and support have evolved across generations, or maybe like we see things the same because y'all know as time changes, things change, people's perspective change, mindsets, things like that. So just something light and fun. There are going to be questions. Mom, don't be getting too deep. Like, this is not our actual discussion, okay? Well, this is just like a little quick game, okay?
Okay, 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 okay.
So, y'all, as my mom and I answer each question based on our viewpoints, I want y'all, this is where y'all, it requires your participation. So, get ready, get ready, get ready. So, in the comments, okay, y'all are going to drop who you agree with more. Are you team mom or team little friend? All right. So, y'all got something to
Let's
do.
go,
And we
y'all.
got
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
All right. So, question number one. Here we go. What's the biggest sign of a true friend?
I'll let my little friend go first.
Oh, I asked the question. You're supposed to answer it.
Well, we both answering the same questions.
Okay, so what's the biggest sign of a true friend? I would say the biggest sign for me is going to be loyalty. Loyalty is the biggest sign for sure. What about you?
For me, hey Sharonda. For
Hey, girl.
me,
Hey.
hey, girl, we live at 5. For me, the biggest sign for a true friend is a person who's willing to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, regardless. And they do it in love and respect.
So communication. Okay. Who y'all agree with? Or what's your perspective? What do you feel like is the biggest sign of a true friend?
Right.
All right.
The next question is, if a friend betrays your trust, should you cut them off or give them grace?
That's a good one. So going back to my first one, biggest sign is loyalty. So I feel like once you betray my trust, now you disloyal. Now we got a big issue. And I'm not a big person. I feel like I don't know if that was like my generation. That definitely is my generation because it's a song, this a worldly song, and be like, no new friends, no new friends. But that was old and I don't believe in that. But I'm not like huge on like cutting people off. I feel like as you grow, people that grow will grow with you, or people just fall off. People just end up falling off, you know? But I definitely believe in like giving grace. Like if y'all can communicate, like you say your sign is, if y'all can communicate and see like what it was. So I think it just depends on like case by case
That's what I was
situation.
going to
So I
say.
don't know. It just depends like what did you do?
On how you
Because
broke my trust, right? If I asked you to drop something in the post office and you forgot, I give you some grace.
yeah.
But if I confided in you about something, or
And you
you
went
know,
and told somebody else, like,
or if
yeah,
I'm married and you trying to run up on my husband, no, no. Like, so I think
yeah.
it depends on what it was that you did.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It definitely is gonna have to just give like what are you doing? And is this consistent? Like is this your character?
Yeah,
Because now we have a character flaw. Like now is some work that needs to be done there. So yeah. All right, what y'all think? Let us know in the comments.
that's
The next one. Is it okay to confront a friend via text or should it always be face to face?
some conversations just should be had face to face, because when you're texting, some things are misrepresented. Things don't always come across maybe the way that you intend for them to do. So I think face to face for me is always best.
Yeah, I definitely don't believe in confronting anyone via text. However, face to face may not always be possible. Maybe y'all are in different states, but FaceTime, we do have that. So if you
Yeah.
gotta get on a
FaceTime is
FaceTime
good.
or get on a Zoom call or some kind of way, because I believe communication and the delivery is just received different when you can see the person, visual cues, different things like that, because your body does communicate your language as well. And then also, like, if we're dealing with something serious, like texting, I don't know, people then change texting from what it needs to be. Like, text is for like a quick thing, like not sending me long paragraphs back and forth. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Cause I know I don't. Like, my schedule is just not, I don't got time to be going back and forth sending you dissertations. Like, baby, I could be writing a book. Like, if I'm gonna do all that.
Yeah. Oh, Sharonda said, I feel like you should know that friend and see them for what they are. That's definitely true.
So maybe she's responded to the second one.
The second one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely believe that once a person shows you who they are, like, believe them. I know that's like a saying that people say, and I believe that's true. And when you do, like, it's just some things that, okay, maybe this is who you are, or maybe this is, like I said, a character flaw. So is this something that you're willing to work on? Are we willing to work through this and grow through it? Because we're always on our growing journey. So yes. Did she said, I think for the next one, I let them come to me. So it sounds like you like to avoid confrontation. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. Like it's a I'm the kind of person, I'm like, it's a problem. We need to talk about it. Let's see what it is. We either gonna give it up or turn it loose. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna pray about it, and if it's like something real serious, then we need to talk about it. Or I may send a text to be like, "Hey, are you available? At such and such time." But I'm not about to send a text about the situation. I'm just gonna send a text to schedule it or whatever like that. So yeah,
right. That's a good one. Okay, so the next one is, should your best friend know all your business or some things are off limits?
I don't think nobody should know all your business unless it's your husband or wife. But before you talk to anybody, you need to talk to God. Like, God is the one who gonna know all my business. He's the one who knows me, the creator. He's the one, who fashioned me this way. So that's the one and only person who should know, like, everything first and foremost. But I don't know. I just feel like all your business, like, you don't talk about everything with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend. She was one thing she had taught me, because I have a couple people that I associate myself with, and one thing she was telling me was, oh, my computer on there. One thing she was telling me was, you don't share everything with everybody. Some things you can I guess it depends on where you and that person are in your life, in your relationship,
Mhm.
because there are some relationships I've had since I was like in middle school, and
Mhm.
then there are some relationships that I've built more recently, but I guess it just depends on the level of that friendship.
Mhm.
So I can't share every situation with every friend. Some friends are just for support. Some friends are for opinions or suggestions. Some friends are the friends I could pray with, talk to.
Well, the
And
question was your best friend. Your
yeah,
best friend. No, all your business.
right. So no, like you said, God, he's the creator. And even in a book I read, if you want to know how something works, you read the manual or you go to the creator. So
Yeah.
that's the only person I'm trying to tell all my business to.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes, like, as humans, like, we love to just talk, and like we're so quick to just start saying stuff that we forget to go to the creator first. Cause it may be something that, like, just because you thought it don't mean it need to be said. Like, some people just
Right.
say everything that come to their mind. It's like, girl. So yeah. So the next one is, what's the best way to support a friend going through a tough time?
I think it depends on that friend. For some
Mhm.
people, like for yourself, I learned that you're the type of person where if you're going through a tough time, you kind of seclude yourself a little bit, with you and God to go through it, depending on what it is. When other people, some people, they just may like to be by themselves. Like I had a friend whose mom passed away, and she was like, she just wanted to be to herself. Where me, I'm the type of person, I like to be surrounded by people. So if I'm going through something, I don't want to be by myself because I don't want to be like my mind just going. You know, they say like an idle mind is a devil workshop. So if I'm going through something, I don't want to just be by myself and my mind is just going and going and going.
Yeah. Um, I think it depends on what the friend is going through and like you said, the person. I always pray first. Like I'm I'm gonna ask for direction. Again from God to see like how I should go about different situations because you can't treat everybody one in the same and you can't treat every situation one in the same. And
Right.
I just feel like that requires you to be sensitive to the spirit, sensitive to your friend or the family member and knowing like who they are and paying attention to things. I'm
Mhm.
very big on observations, like, I'm a observant type of person, so, you know, if I'm gonna support somebody, then maybe they have shared something with me and, um, like, something about what they need, like, they may not have asked me for it, but if they mention it to me, then I might just do it. I may not say, like, "Oh, Imma do this for you." I may just do it and surprise them or, or just send, a word of encouragement through text message or so I just think it depends on, like, what it is, like, um, and who it is.
Right. Hmm.
Um,
Um,
go ahead.
what's the best way to oh no, we just read that one. Can you be close to friends with can you be close friends with someone your mom doesn't approve of?
So I feel like that's like more like when you're a teenager, your mom be like, "No, I don't know about this one," or "She ain't good for you." You know how you go through those years like as a teenager, and your mom is like, and they're usually always right when you are growing up. So if that's like the scenario that we're talking about, then I feel like you kind of go through your situation and you have to learn on your own. But as an adult, I don't know that I don't know. I never had that kind of situation, so I don't know. Can you be close with someone your friend doesn't approve?
So it sounds like I hear you saying if you're an adolescent or a teenager, then yes, that could have some influence
For
on that.
sure.
Yeah, because of how your mom feels or if she's approved. But if you're once you become an adult, then it's up to you to make the best decisions,
Hmm.
and for your life. So I definitely agree with that. Is that about
And
right?
I feel like if we're adding more to that, like a lot of times discernment is a real thing. Like mothers always know for sure.
That's what
But
I just said.
if you are sharing, like, stuff with a person about another person and then they forming an opinion, then it's like you put yourself in a situation because you and that person may make up, and now you done shared all this stuff with whatever person, whether it's your mom or, and now they didn't form their own opinion. Now they holding a grudge against somebody that you didn't already forgave. So it's like if we're going more deeper with that, it's like you got to be careful again why you shouldn't tell people everything because you may work through that. You may have healed and grew from that, but they still holding on to something that you told them a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. And that could go for friendships, relationships, family relationships, just any type of business relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good point to make.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Does a real sisterhood mean talking every day or can distance exist without love fading?
I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the foundation of the relationship and the communication because if you have a person like I had a friend, we did everything together. We went to school together, we ate together, we worked out together, we did our homework together, we shopped together. Like we did a lot of stuff together. So, and that was for years. So when you have somebody where you've built a foundation and you're doing that, then it's like you kind of get used to it or you get in the habit of it. So when that change, when that dynamic change or a friend move away, which she did move away, then it's almost like, yeah, we still talk, but the dynamic of the relationship isn't the same. But our love definitely didn't fade, but
Yeah.
because of how much we care about each other. So it's like we can kind of pick up wherever we left off when we do talk,
Mm-hmm.
but it changes because we're not putting that time in with each other. We're not talking as frequently. So it's like some things we may miss.
Yeah. Um, with the question, does real sisterhood mean talking every day? So real sisterhood to me, if you my sister, you my sister. Like it don't matter. So I got blood family who I'm not talking to every day, but that don't make them not my family no more. And that's not my personality type. I'm not talking to nobody every day. I don't want to talk to my mama every day. Like I don't want to talk to nobody every day. And especially if you're a mother and you have kids and everybody got lives, like everybody has things going on. So I feel like that's where codependency comes in a lot too. Like people depend on other people too much. So I feel like if it's a real sisterhood, like the love should not fade no matter what. Like if I call you my sister, you my sister. Unless again that betrayal happens or we just, grow apart, then that's just is what it is. But once I call somebody family, like you family.
Yeah. And I agree with that. It's right or die. Like pick up the phone, call me. If we say we sisters, then I got you, no
Yeah.
matter what. So I definitely agree with that. But I don't think that the love fades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the
And
love.
I don't think you gotta talk every day, but what I do know for sure is we need to be calling each other on our birthdays. Like, if you don't call me on my birthday, then that's a big thing for me. Then
Yeah,
it's
birthdays are
kinda,
important. You know, and I'm
I
not
see
talking
you.
about
You don't care about me like that.
don't text me on my birthday. Call me on my birthday. Like everybody else texting me, you should set yourself apart on those moments.
Yeah, but every day I don't care about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, you don't need to talk to me every day. I'm a phone person, so I don't mind. But now, in this season of my life, I'm focusing on giving God more of my time. So I don't have time to be on the phone that much.
Yeah. That's good.
Prioritizing.
All right. As we conclude this little icebreaker, is it okay for your best friend to also be best friends with someone else?
It's
Uh-oh.
okay for them to be friends with someone else. I'm selfish with my friends, though. Um, I don't know. I
You
guess,
sound like the friends I've had in the past.
I just
Y'all
no.
y'all require too much.
That's what I've been told. But my whole thing is this, right? You my friend, you my sister. My sister friend is what I call it, right? So if you have another friend, of course, as us being friends, we're going to talk about maybe what you may be going through with that person or what's going on in your life. And I'm never going to be okay knowing that someone else is doing something to hurt a friend of mine or someone I care about. So that definitely becomes an issue. But as long as they friends and know their boundaries, then they fine.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't really care.
Sharon said she texts on birthday.
You text your best friend on her birthday? Y-
You
Your
could
best
text
friend?
people on their birthday, but your best friend, that's like texting your mom on her birthday. Like, no, pick up the phone and call me or your sibling. Like social media text message is taken out of the personal contact that people have, the personal part of it. Um,
I think that's okay for in general, but your best friend? I don't know, that's crazy to me. Or
yeah,
or not at all.
yeah. That would piss me off. If my best friend texts me happy birthday, I'd be like,
Or fall in the comments with everybody else there. That's wild. That's crazy.
uh,
She says she the only best friend. So
so
like
she
you don't
knows
you don't
her.
have a best friend.
No, she don't like her friend having another best friend.
Oh, you responded to the next one. Okay, okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like we grown, like, people have, different relationships with people and, it's just different when you grown. I don't know.
And like I say, it's different too. Like some of my friends have kids, right?
Mhm.
Small kids, but my kids are grown. So I'll go to like a school event or something, but I may not go to a birthday party and stay out the whole time because I don't want to be around a whole bunch of kids. Like it's just certain things. Like,
Yeah. No, I feel that.
yeah, so but I love you. I support you. I'll be there all the time. Let's have a cookout. Let's do lunch. Let's go to church together. I'm for it. But yeah, some stuff I'm just like, I'll pass on that event.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Some good little icebreaker questions, so y'all can definitely talk about these with your girlfriends, with your sisters, okay? So the next thing I want to jump into is talking about why women need like true supportive friendship, sisterhood, especially, like we said, when you're dealing with tough times, like we all want to have someone um that's there for us.
Right.
So why do you feel like that's important?
I feel like it's important to, for me, my life, it's been important for me to have a friend or someone I can talk to, a voice of reason, someone who I can bounce ideas off of, or, just so I think it's just, I think it's helpful
Yeah.
because you shouldn't have to do life alone.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely don't believe that God created us to do life alone. Like the Bible says, is like it's not good for man to be alone. So God created us for a community. When you think about in the beginning, like he even sent the animals two by two. Like he didn't want the animals to be alone. So
ain't
it's
gonna
like
be myself,
nobody is
right?
meant to be isolated and alone. Like everybody needs somebody, So, and I just think that women thrive in community when you're around people who are doing better than you, who are, have some goals, have the mindset and can help you see life in perspective and can help you grow. I just believe that you can thrive in that way. And when you have support, like who doesn't want support? Like when you're accomplishing something, like you want to celebrate that with somebody. When your friend is doing something or your sister or a person in your community is doing something, like you want to cheer them on, life be lifing. And we all need encouragement and support sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that to surround yourself with like-minded people is instrumental in growth and sustainability.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm better than other people, and I don't look down on anybody because the same people you see on the way up, you can see them on the way down. But I think that when you want to be a business person, you need to be in a room with business minded people, business people. When you want to be spiritually fed, then you need to surround yourself with other like minded believers. If you're on the journey for self healing and self declaration and self affirmation, then you need to surround yourself with women or people who are also going through some of those same things. So I just think that we can elevate and pull each other up. Or if somebody is already where you're trying to go, then they can help you. And going
Mhm.
back to what we was talking before we got online, it's like no, in my opinion, I feel like no one is at an age to where they can't learn.
Mhm.
Everybody is at an age to where they can teach. Even
Mhm.
my grandchildren teach me things, and they're 3 and 6. So I just believe that as a community of women or men, if you're a guy, then it is helpful and it's definitely unnecessary.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. Community is very important. So, as we've been talking about sisterhood and friendships and community, um, how do you think that in this world, in culture today, how can we break the cycle of comparison and competition?
In my opinion, I think that, and we're still talking about sisterhood. I think
Mhm.
that as women,
Mm,
we need to un, un unlearn some of the things that we've been taught
for sure.
growing up. I also think we need to unlearn some of the things that we've seen on social media, on TV, what society say we should look like, what we should be, how we should have a career or not. And
Mhm.
with that, I think that it allows us to um, build or program ourselves according to our own core values, our own beliefs.
Mhm.
And then from there, it'll allow us to cultivate together, not in cliques, but in like the church does, like groups, small groups or life groups, where you're not lifing alone, but you have a sister. I can call Shakira and talk to her about this because she's been through that, or we can pray together, or whatever that looks like. So I just think that um, society says, well, a woman needs to work. You can't be a at home mom anymore. Or sometimes it's like, oh, you can be an at home mom, but you still need to do everything else. Like, who makes these rules? Who sets the guidelines for that?
Yeah.
No, you need to do what works for you and for your family and for your situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe comparison is the thief of joy. So I believe that healing needs to take place. Everyone needs to do the hard, deep healing work, um, so that you can identify who you are and whose you are in Christ Jesus. Because when you know who you are, a secure woman not comparing herself to nobody else. A secure woman is celebrating others. A secure woman don't need validation from anyone. A secure woman doesn't feel threatened by other people's success.
Right.
A secure woman is not doing that. As a confident woman with confidence, I know who I am and whose I am. So I don't have to compete with anybody because I am more than a conqueror. I am who I am because
Mm-hmm.
God created me.
Right.
Man didn't make me, so man can't take
Break
away from
me.
me. They can't break me, okay?
Right.
So, I believe the healing has to take place because you can't even operate from that perspective if you are not the healed version of yourself. So, all of us, have been broken in some kind of way, but it is your healing is your responsibility. So, what may have happened to you is not your fault, may not have been your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. And I feel that so heavily. I feel like everyone has to take responsible for their healing journey and do the work. And once you do the work of healing, then you can identify who you are. Once you identify who you are, then you can walk confidently in purpose and you can celebrate other women. You can be around anybody because you don't feel threatened by that. It's
Right.
the confidence in you. It's the God in me. It's the God in me.
But you know what? And it's so crazy. I was in the store, in the line, and this young lady had her hair done, cute little bob, but it was like pink, but it
Mhm.
was really, really pretty. And I was like, oh my God, I love your hair. And it was this older lady. I heard that lady, she was like, look a mess. These folks around here putting all this color in their hair. Growing up, we ain't do. And I'm like, why?
That's just bigger.
Why women like we can't say, sis, I like your hair. That's a cute outfit. Or girl, them shoes. Like I'm a shoe person, so I'm always looking at people's shoes.
But that goes back to what you said, unlearning things and like the bitterness from generations and doing what you've seen done. Like, no, that is toxic. Like, you do
Who
not.
said we gotta compete anyway? Where did that come from? Like, why can't we just be like, oh, sis, you oh, okay. Like I mean, we just have to, each one have to teach one, but we also have to help each other too. And I think
Mhm.
as women, sometimes, um, like you said, the insecurities and the seeking validation, if you got to look at a sister like you've been eating lemons all day,
But
like,
that's usually projecting. So you're projecting something from yourself onto somebody else. So again, going back to my statement is you need to do the healing, because what is in you, what's happening with
Feel
you
that
that
way.
is making you feel that way.
That's good.
Why is it that you get upset because you see somebody got married on social media or somebody happy, like, and you mad? Like, what
Mad.
is it in you?
And that's a happy occasion. Like, why wouldn't you want to celebrate a happy occasion or someone's milestone in their life? And like you said, it's because of
The
what's within you. And that's
mhm.
why I kind of started out saying how we have to unlearn some of the things that we have been taught, because it will make us feel like, well, and when you were saying that, it made me think of, remember how they was talking about the brown bag color thing, where they was talking about little black girls, were they the shade of like the brown paper bag or something?
Mm,
You don't remember? I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, like I remember growing up where they used to talk about, if you were a little brown girl, if you were the shade of a brown paper bag or lighter, then you were considered pretty. But if you were darker than that brown paper bag, then you wasn't pretty. So it was always things like that.
yeah, I
And
feel like
those
that's a generation thing. I don't know. We heard that as
and
millennials.
those are the things like that people have to unlearn. It doesn't matter what color brown you are, what color you are, you're still beautiful, because everything God created was good.
Yeah,
Everything that He created, and that means you too. So yeah, I don't think it's a competition.
yeah,
People make it a competition. Even corporations try to make us compete against each other, but it's not. It's
and that's why you got to know the schemes of the enemy. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So, of course, that is what the world is going to do, try to pin women against each other. So you have to, again, it all stems back to the healing. You got to do the
yeah.
healing work, and you got to know your identity. You got to know who you are. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Know who you are and whose you are in Christ Jesus. That part.
that's it. That's it.
And it's good that you're talking about healing, because that kind of leads us to the next point. Healing from past friendships that cause hurt or betrayal. Healing from past friendship wounds is necessary.
For
Just,
sure.
just because one person hurt you doesn't mean all women will.
Yes. Again, that's so important. And I believe too, and I recognize this in myself, like as I continue to mature, like, you know how sometimes we just act like, oh, that didn't bother me, or I wasn't phased by it. And it's like, girl, now actually you were. Like, it'll come up in another situation where it may not be that same exact thing, but something similar, and it reveals to you a wound. And that's
Yeah.
usually what happens. Like, what is not healed, you can't, I mean, what is not revealed cannot be healed. So you
Mhm.
have to acknowledge and just bring it to awareness that, man, that did hurt me. Like, I
Right.
did feel betrayed, or I did think that we were gonna have a long life together, or that we were gonna do XYZ together. Like, I thought
Right.
that. And once you acknowledge that and you make yourself aware of your feelings, I feel like then that's when the real healing can
That's
take
when the
place.
real work start.
Yes, and then so you don't bleed onto other people who, why they gotta pay the
Ooh,
price for something that somebody else did to you?
somebody
Like,
else
that's
did it.
not fair.
Right.
So I'm very intentional about that, like, acknowledging, and this is another thing, just 'cause something made you feel away or
Mm-hmm.
it hurt your feelings, it doesn't mean that, um like, it can't be fixed, it can't be restored. So, it may not be restored with that person or that situation,
That's
but
it.
God will send the right people at the right time, and you don't want that wound to just be open and exposed
Open,
and bleeding onto other
exposed.
people. So
Mm-hmm.
so
Ooh,
you
that's good.
gotta acknowledge it, and it don't make you weak. I feel like another thing was like, just the whole strong-minded women and, like, that whole mindset, like, when you think like that, then, of course, then you got this tough skin on acting like nothing hurt you, when it's like, y'all, we are humans, like, we all bleed, we all hurt, and you can admit it, and allow God to heal it.
And He will. He definitely will. I definitely think before you can be a sister to anybody, before you can be a friend to anybody, what I have been learning and I'm still learning is that you gotta be the most authentic you can be. You got to stay true to who you are. You have to do your healing, like Shakira said, and not only just your healing, because it's like planting flowers in a garden. Once you plant the flowers, you done tilt the soil, you done planted it, and you watering it, and it's growing. Sometimes the weeds try to grow up in there
Mhm.
and it makes it look real bad. But we got to pull those weeds out so we can still have a beautiful garden. That don't mean the weeds not going to come back. They're
Mhm.
going to keep coming, and we can put some weed treat or something like that on it, but it still doesn't keep them from coming. And what those weeds to me represents is challenges, obstacles,
Mhm.
trials,
Mhm.
tribulations.
Good.
Because gardens are so pretty and colorful and beautiful, but weeds can come and they try to choke out the beautiful, just like the word of God. When we get that word, on a Sunday, on a Wednesday, or whatever, the enemy's standing right out there in the parking lot, wait to come and snatch the word away from us. So it's the same thing as women. It's up to us to do our self work, to do our self healing, because I can't be a genuine friend to you. I can't even, how can you trust me based on my behavior or based on my mindset or what
Mhm.
I'm dealing with? If depression or anxiety has gotten a hold on me, then I'm already heavy. How can you come to me as a friend and give me anything or try to, like, it's my self work that I have to do for myself. And
Yeah.
once I'm working on that and working through that, then I can be the best sister. I can be the best me for every and anybody. And then
Mhm.
God is able to use me once I allow myself to go through that. He'll
Mhm.
use those testimonies, he'll use those stories to help enlighten or uplift someone else.
Yeah. Me and my sis was talking about last week on how like women are quick to cut other women off, but let a man do something to you or a little boy do something to you, like you accept him back time after time after time and the time again, and we just discard people like people are disposable. And I feel like we have to be so careful with that because nobody is disposable. And as quick as we are to forgive a man, like we should forgive our sisters and be able to have that communication and that conversation, like, and see if it is possible for restoration, because not all situations will be, but some in a lot of cases, like, it's possible for restoration to take place, but both parties have to be open to hearing each other out and to also doing that work as well. Another thing in this generation is they like to say like, oh, it's not serving me anymore, it doesn't serve me well, and that is like,
Come up
ugh,
with that
it's
foolery.
so cringy to me because it's like, man, we live in a society where people have this mentality that everything should be their way and everything should be serving them, and it's like that is the furthest thing from the truth. Like, we are here to serve God, like that is the only
That's
purpose,
that
like,
sense of entitlement. That's
yeah,
like the people who feel like they're entitled, like somebody, like the world owed them something.
yeah.
In my opinion, those are the people that typically have that mindset or that way of thinking. But I think we just have to. Because for me, there were times in my life that I didn't even have female friends. And I
Mhm.
see Sharonda said, all her friends are guys because women can be so catty. All the estrogen, the attitudes, the emotions. So sometimes women can be hard to deal with and they can be catty. So, to hang out with a male or guys and not have to deal with all that other stuff. And guys can be messy too. So it's not just, one sided, but I think it's just having that discernment and getting to know a person to see if they're a good fit. Because, like you be telling me, everybody ain't for me.
Mhm.
And the people who not for me, they just not.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
they just don't remain. And sometimes that happen. And of course, I always like to say when we grow, everybody can't go. So
Yeah.
when God elevates us to different places or when we're making changes in our lives, everybody can be a part of the new change.
Mhm. Yeah. And again, that goes back to why the healing is so important, because just 'cause one person hurt you doesn't mean that everybody is gonna hurt you. So you got to be open to that growth and that change. That's
Yeah.
good. That's real
Oh,
good.
I was on the phone with a friend this morning and I was telling her because she's just went through that. And I'm like, listen, think of it as a pitcher of water. If you fill that pitcher of water up and then you have those people or those friends who are pouring into you, and you're pouring into yourself, then your picture remains at a good level or a high level. But when you have people that come along and they hurt you, it's like they're poking holes in your picture. So even though you're pouring into yourself and other people are pouring into you, the people that have hurt you have left holes. So the
Mm,
water is still draining out.
mm,
So you can either decide to keep trying to use that same picture for people to pour into, or you can discard that thing altogether and get a new picture and
mm.
start pouring, but detach yourself from those things or those people that have hurt you so you're not having those holes. So you can keep all the things that's been poured into you so you can use them and activate those gifts and those blessings.
That's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So, wrapping it all together, how do you think that women can cultivate sisterhood in faith communities specifically? Yeah.
In faith communities,
Yeah, just I mean, because that's based what I talk about a lot. But after all that women have gone through and what they've been through and all the conversations that we had, like to, encouraging someone to cultivate sisterhood. How can they do that?
I think we just have to go in with a reset, a clean slate, and meet people where they are. And I like to say meet people where they are because you don't know what people have been through, what their walk has been, but you know you've met them at church or you've met them in Bible study or fellowship or life group or whatever. So they have a desire. The
Mhm.
desire is there, or else they wouldn't be present. So then it's like you don't go by what you've heard or what other people may say. You
Mhm.
go by your own experience with that person,
Mhm.
and you keep God at the center of it. As
Mhm.
long as you keep God at the center of it, anything it can build to be something great. So when it comes to a sisterhood, are building those relationships, keep God at the forefront, keep open communication,
Mhm.
and full transparency.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, I definitely believe that godly friendships require intentionality. Like I always use the word intention because you got to be intentional like with everything in your life. But especially with friendships and cultivating that, especially after you have been hurt and you've done your healing and you're working through your process and you're growing and you're walking that narrow road. So it's so important to pray and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you and to um ask the Holy Spirit to help you see people the way that he sees people because as
That's good.
humans we have scales on our eyes and we see through a broken lens, and when you ask Holy Spirit to help you see people the way that he does, like you can love people better, you can be more open to investing and cultivating healthy friendships and relationships with other women because you're not looking at it from your broken lens. You're looking at it from God's lens, and like God loves this person. Like he cares about her past. He cares about what she's been through, her wounds and all of that. And it's like when you invite the Holy Spirit, something different just happens versus you
It
trying to operate in your own strength, in your own knowledge. Because again, you didn't create nobody. You are not the creator. The creator is
does.
God, and He created all of us. So He knows each and every one of us, and He knows how to deal with us. He knows like what we each require. He knows our heart. He knows what our heart needs. So I just truly believe that true sisterhood is built on trust and love, and it takes time. Um
Mm.
and you got to be the friend that you desire to have. If you say
Ooh,
that you
that's good.
desire a friend that communicates well, what's your communication like? Like you can't desire
Mhm.
a friend that communicates well, but every time it's time to talk, you shut down or you ain't got nothing to say. It's like you got to work through that. Do the work, and just know that God will align you with the right people in your life.
Yeah. I know one episode we did the 5 love languages, and a lot of times people want to articulate that just to intimate relationships. But I think that even when building a sisterhood, it's good to know what your love languages are, because you want people to know how to deal with you, how to handle you. Of course, the Holy Spirit is going to reveal those things, but it's still a part of learning that person. It's still a part of just getting to know them. How, do they prefer, are they a hugger? I like the hug. I like the touch. Everybody doesn't like that. So, I mean, you just have to have those conversations, and you have to know what people preferences are, what they're comfortable with, and what you're comfortable with, and just grow from there.
Yeah. A friendship is a relationship, which again requires being intentional. It requires time, communication, all the things. So I feel like a lot of people, like, we just live in a society now where everybody's just lazy, don't want to do the work. So it's like everybody got to do their part.
A lot of people, when you talk about, like, when I think about excuses, people always like to say, "I've been busy, girl. That's why I ain't get to do that," or "I've been busy." Like,
And again, that take me back to intention. When you are
right,
intentional about something, then you make the time for what you need to. We all got the same 24 hours in a day.
right,
So I'm very intentional with my time. If I value someone or something, then I put it on my calendar. I make time for it.
right.
So again, if y'all want to start using that word more, intention, then it's going to truly change your life, because when you are just intentional, just everything just flows differently. You're not just, oh, when it happens, or I talk to you and I talk to you, I see you and I see you. It's like, no, like, let's schedule this so that we make sure that time don't go by, years don't go by, and I ain't even seen you or heard from you. Like, we have, oh, this is our time every week, every month, every quarter, whatever that looks like, just figuring our true dynamic. So
That was a good point. What's important to people, they will make time for. Just like if God is important to us, we'll make time for him and have a relationship with him. If the people in our lives are important, then we make time and spend time with them. And and we just have to be, don't overcommit, because I know that used to be a problem I would have. Like, overcommitting myself to people, to things. It's like, don't spread yourself so thin. Like, make realistic goals. Be honest with yourself and be realistic with other people. If you're not in a place in your life where you want to entertain people, or you even want to deal with people, then you have to be honest with yourself to know that. But going back to the beginning, God didn't put us here to do life alone.
mhm.
You
There's
know,
seasons for everything.
uh-huh. And you have to pray before you go into things. I know that there have been 2 different occasions where I've tried to, get into, like, different sisterhood organizations and things like that. And glory be to God, it was God's grace that just kept me from those things. But we shouldn't have to pay to have a sisterhood. The only thing we should have to pay is attention, pay our time with God, our tithes, our offerings, but we shouldn't have to pay to have a sisterhood. And we shouldn't have to go through a circus to have that time. We just definitely have to be intentional. And intentional is my 2025 word too. Just being intentional. And when I start something, seeing it through to the end.
Mhm.
Because I don't know about y'all, but a lot of times that becomes my issue or my thing. I'll start something and I don't see it through to the end. I have like 100 things I done started from last year and nothing is done. So what I've been doing is going back to complete those things, because I want to be intentional, and I want to show God that I'm serious about the things, that the visions, the dreams, the things that He's given me. Just
Mhm.
like with people in relationship, if people come into your life, then you need to be intentional about seeing what is their purpose in your life. Like,
And
why
just
are
steward that
you?
relationship well.
Hmm. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
that's
good.
what I've been working on.
No, that's really good. Oh, good. Have y'all enjoyed this conversation today? Sisterhood and support. Let us know down in the comments. Here is another opportunity for you guys to engage as well. We want to give you all a chance to honor the sisters in your life. Before the show, like we talked about how why we need support and why community is so important. So now is your time to like really and think about who's in your life. Um, you can share this message with at least 5 sisters and encourage her to listen to it, and maybe y'all can have a discussion about it. You can also send a text message or call up a sister today and just honor her and just give her some words of encouragement. Um, yeah, do that. I implore you today to do one of two of those things, and then yeah, just continue to always show appreciation. I'm just huge on like gratitude. I don't take for granted the smallest things in my life to the largest things, like the people who come into my life and people who may not be here anymore. Like I'm so grateful for every encounter, every experience, every person. And I always send blessings and wish people well, like, no matter if we're still together or not, because another thing I don't like is when people try to act like it was all bad. Like, if you was around that person or y'all was friends or sisters, whatever, for a certain amount of time, like you wasn't around for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years and just miserable.
And
Like,
it was
so
all bad.
don't act like,
100.
yeah,
Keep it a
don't act
buck.
like when y'all grow apart, whatever, life goes on that, oh, it was just terrible. Like, send people on with blessings and wish them well and allow God to do the work in their life and he can bless you and bless them. Okay. God is a big
Yeah.
God. He has enough to go around for everybody. So I always like encourage, send encouragement and, send people on well. I think that that's really important.
And when you were talking, the thing that came to my mind is give your sister her flowers while she's here. Don't wait till something happens and she's gone on to eternity and you're saying, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that. Even if it's your mom, your daughter, your aunt, you know,
Yes.
anybody. Like, show appreciation, show gratitude. Those people who like to text, it's flower emojis. Give them their flowers. If you're in the same city with them, hey, you don't have to be extravagant. Just the simple things, the little things. I remember when we were in school, we used to pass notes. And even when I was working in retail management, I used to write notes to tell my people, hey, I appreciate you. You're doing a good job. Handwritten notes. So, it's the little things that people think are trivial, but can mean a lot to someone else. So yeah, give people their flowers while they're here. Let them know you appreciate them. And give yourself flowers. Appreciate yourself and give yourself
Mhm.
grace. Because some women come into our lives and we be like, Lord, I don't know about this one. Like I thought I was something, but she wilder than me. And I'm like, I just feel like there are people that we're
Mhm.
assigned to, and there are women that are going to come and go from our lives, but we have to ask God, what is the purpose at that
Mhm.
moment, at that season? And as long as we seek Him, then He'll give us the guidance on um, what they're in our life for, or what we're in their life for, and what we're
Yeah,
supposed to do.
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you all, we're going to go ahead and conclude the show with our listener letter for today. We're going to read it to you all, and then we're going to just share some encouragement with this person who sent in something to us. So let's go ahead and get into it. You want to read it or you want me to read it? Okay.
I can read it. It says, Dear Mom, let's talk. I've always believed in sisterhood, but a recent experience left me questioning everything. My best friend and I have been inseparable for years, praying together, encouraging each other, and celebrating life's highs and lows. But recently, she started getting closer to another friend, and I felt like I was being replaced. She stopped checking in as much, started making plans without me, and when I brought it up, she said I was being too sensitive.
Mm,
I don't want to be jealous or controlling, but I also feel like I'm losing my sister. How do I navigate this without letting insecurity take over? And also, should I step back or fight for this friendship?
mm.
Ooh,
That's a lot to
ooh,
unpack, sister.
child. Ooh, mm, that's interesting. What's your take?
Like I said, there's a lot to unpack there, and it's so funny, like, listening to you read that letter, like, I've been through, like, different situations within that, like, there was so many situations in her one letter that I just feel like have happened at different seasons in my life, and, one of the responses would have been my response in one season. Like, girl.
Not this current season, y'all. Let's just be clear.
Um But yeah, that's a lot, and I feel like there's definitely some hurt and betrayal there, and we kinda talked about that a little bit, and I feel like that's something that you have to literally work through, like, there's not like a one piece of advice, encouragement that I could give. I would really say like you're talking about, you're aware that you feel some kind of way. So I love that because as I mentioned earlier, like acknowledge how you feel. Like I'm so huge on that. So I love that for you, that you have acknowledged it. And then it's like now it's like those next steps. So what am I going to do next? Like, should I reach out to schedule a conversation so that we can get together and you can express to her how you feel, and then I feel like that would kind of help you gauge where you can go next. Like, because once you communicate with her and you see like where her headspace is, you give her an opportunity to be able to explain herself and just share, like, maybe that wasn't her heart. Maybe she didn't intentionally do that, or she didn't realize, or maybe she like, oh yeah, girl, we got more in common and we not on that kind of time anymore. Like, you never know which way the conversation can go. So I think that that communication would be important so that you can just see like, where her heart is and where y'all stand, and then that can kind of help you direct yourself. But yeah, I just say like acknowledgement is just so good, and I love that you did that, and you see that there's a problem. So next step, I would just say communicate with her. If that's if you say that's your sister and is worth fighting for it, let her know how you feel. Like, and that's how I am. Like, I always, especially if I'm on the end where I feel a kind of way, like, Imma say how I feel, Imma allow that person to say, and then, we'll see where it goes from there. Like, sometimes it just fades away and, we grow in different directions, or sometimes we're able to restore and be more intentional about the time that y'all spend together. Maybe y'all you dropped the ball on being intentional in certain areas, so maybe y'all need to start scheduling time or whatever. So, yeah, that's my take.
Um, I agree with you. Definitely a lot to unpack there. Communication for me, that's what was jumping out. Um, sometimes when you build relationships, you know how people are. Like I've always been known as the bold, outspoken person, the person who will say what's on my mind. And when other people, they may be, like you said, not confrontational or not wanting to deal with it right then, but let it kind of die down a little bit. So I think it depends on knowing the person, the other person, but definitely communicating with them because we're not
Mhm.
mind readers. And I can't expect my sister to know how I feel if I don't tell her. I can't expect her to even begin to understand where I'm coming from if I haven't given her the opportunity to at least hear where I am and what my feelings and thoughts are. So I definitely would say that. And if you guys were inseparable for years and you prayed, that was the one thing. Pray. Pray for your sister, pray for the situation, or even have a conversation with her and say, hey, can we pray first and then talk about it? Um, and then the other thing is with your friend getting closer with another friend. I feel like as believers, especially as women of faith, there are people that God has only assigned to us.
Mhm.
So the one thing you don't want to do is get envious or
Mhm.
jealous, because that could be an assignment from God.
Mhm.
And you want your friend to be obedient to the Holy Spirit and the will of God. So you want to give them that grace, and you want to allow them to do what God has ordained for them to do.
Mhm.
And it's nothing against you. It's just that right now in that person's life, this is what they are
Yeah.
called to do.
And maybe you need to focus
Friend, I
more,
love
lean more
you.
into your assignment. Like
I love you, and I haven't forgot about you, but I've put God as the head of
mm,
my life. And right now, this is what He wants
that
me to do. I'm here for you, girl. Call me anytime. We can hang out, but God is
mhm.
first. And if this is what God told me to do, this is what I have to do. So you don't want to be that person to stunt your friend's growth, and to stop checking on her. I mean, hey, you never know where they may be mentally, emotionally, or physically. If you're not calling to check on me and you my sister, I'm finna call and check on you. Girl, you all right? Everything okay? I miss talking to you. And I'm gonna ignite that thing back up. Because sometimes it can be just the cares of this world that get us off track. And if you don't get back on track, or she doesn't get back on track, then y'all never get
Yeah.
back on track.
Ooh,
So somebody has to initiate
I
that
wanna
thing.
make a comment to that too, because re-hearing you say that and rereading it again, she stopped checking in as much and started making plans without me. I feel like that's so good. Oh my goodness, because especially when for me, I am the planner friend. I'm the one that's always sending encouragement and stuff. So sometimes I will pull back. It's like, okay, you need to check yourself. Are you doing the work too? Have you been reciprocating that to her? So maybe she may feel like she has exhausted everything to you and she's not getting anything in return. And maybe, this new friendship is filling her up in a way that that one hasn't. So I, I always like to encourage people to take an evaluation of you as well. Like I'm a very introspective person. Like I try to see like, okay, where did I go wrong? Like where am I the problem? So for me, like I'm that friend that's always pouring, 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 always sending words of encouragement, always doing this, always checking in on everybody. So if I pull back and then ain't nobody checking on me, then it's like, okay, you need to evaluate yourself too. It's like you say, oh, you don't call me anymore. You haven't checked in. It's like, well, girl, I've always been doing it. Hello, I'm a person too. I got stuff going on too. Like check in on me.
Right.
So I encourage her to do that.
Differential balance. It's differential balance. Hey, I stopped checking in, but I've checked in on you for 5 years. How many times have you checked in on me? I may be dealing with something. I may be sick, or I just may want some quiet time, or I just may be in a season where I don't even want to be on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But because you haven't been active or as involved in my life, you missing out. Like you don't know what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. So I think it's just communicating is not always I'm talking to you. Communication is
Mm-hmm.
listening. Communication is understanding. And communication for me is also having good heart posture. That's a way to
Mm-hmm.
communicate. That's a way that I'm dialing in with God. Like, okay, I love you, sis, but what's pulling us apart? I want my heart to be able to receive whatever
Yeah.
she tells me. And I want my heart to be in the right place for me to
Mm-hmm.
express how I'm feeling or how this situation is making me feel. That way, nobody is on the defensive, but we're able to discuss it, dive into it, come up with a solution, resolution, or to just understand it's no problem at all. This is just what's going on. Hey girl, I'm sorry you felt that way, girl. We'll get it back together. Hey, next week let's do coffee and
Mm-hmm.
donuts. Like it could be something so minor, but sometimes because we in our feelings, we make it
Mm-hmm.
bigger than what it is. And we don't always have to. And I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very like I want my friends to call me and check on me. No, we don't got to be on the phone for 10 minutes. I mean, we don't got to be on the phone for 10 hours, but send a wave, a hand wave or something. I'm okay with that. But if I ain't heard from you a week or 2 weeks, then I'm calling to check on you because that ain't like you. Usually we talk every other day or a couple times a week, and I ain't heard from you. So now I need to be like, girl, you okay? And another thing that, some of me and my friends say, like, if you really need that time for yourself, then
Communicate that as
just
well.
say,
Mhm.
yeah, girl, I'm gonna take the next 2 weeks to fast or just to spend time with God. Then I can respect that. I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna reach out. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
praying that you're getting
Yep.
what you need, but I'm gonna respect
Yeah.
where you are and what you need
Yeah.
in your life. So that's what we have to do. We have to communicate that, and communicating is being respectful of where they are, taking the I out the equation. It's not always about you. And that's what I'm learning too. It ain't always about me and what I want and what I need. The other person is a person too. What about what they want? What about what they need? So don't always be on the I statements. Just think about everybody that's included in the
Yes, that's
situation.
so good. This conversation has been so good today. I feel like we've unpacked and talked about so much, and I'm sure there's so much more that we could talk about when it comes to sisterhood and support. But three main things that really stand out to me is that loyalty is important, communication is important, and being intentional with your sisters is important. So I just encourage each of you guys to, do a heart check on yourself. Check your heart. How's your heart posture? And, see what it is that you can work on to be a better sister to your sisters, and how you can show up to support others. And then also reach out and celebrate your sis, and be more intentional about your time and all of those things. And I pray that you have received something from today's conversation, that it has blessed you, because it has definitely blessed me. And yeah, do you have any last words, Mom?
Yeah, I definitely have enjoyed this episode. Sisterhood and support is important. My sister and I aren't as close as I would like, but in the friends that God has brought in my life, I've created sister relationships and things like that, and I'm truly grateful. Shout out to all my sisters, okay? But one thing that you said that I just want to reiterate is, be the type of friend or woman or sister that you want in your life. And you can't, because when we have expectations, we set ourselves up for
Mhm.
disappointment. Everybody is not going to be the type of friend to you that you want them to be.
Everybody not gonna be a you to you.
Right, that's what I meant to say. Everybody's not going to be the type of friend to you that you are to them. Like you said, can your best friend have more than one best friend? I may consider Shakira my best friend, but she don't consider me her best friend. She just consider me an associate or somebody she talk to every now and then. So the caliber of our relationship is not balanced. It's not going to be what I want it to be, because she don't see it
Mhm.
like that. So when you want something, you have to give out what you're expecting to get back. And that's what keeps the relationship balanced. And then if you feel like you're not getting that, then you need to set the tone for that relationship. Just like when you meet a person, a guy, and y'all start dating, you say, hey, these are the things I'm absolutely not willing to deal with. These are the things we could compromise on, and these are the things that I expect or that I would like to
Mhm.
have. So I think you definitely need to be the person that you want others to
Yeah.
be to you. And like Shakira said, that's loyal, that's intentional, that's trustworthy, that's just committed to the process. Because you will have those ebb and flows of life, and it's up to you to work through it
Mhm.
together to
Yeah.
get through it. And that's what make us strong and make us better. But I definitely think sisterhoods are necessary. So hey, if you're not already connected with a woman or a group of women that can be supportive and helpful to your growth, then find yourself a group to get in, a sisterhood, a life group, and start being phenomenal, because that's what we are. We're phenomenal women, like Maya Angelou
Yes.
says.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
if you're still watching and you have not already made that commitment, to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, okay, so that you can be a part of a family over here with I Am Shakira TV. Put that post notification bell on so you can be notified every single time I post a new video, you guys. More conversations coming to you every single Monday for Mom Let's Talk. If there is something that you would like us to talk about and discuss, or if you would like to be one of our listener letters that we talk about on the show, please go ahead and write in to info at IAMSHAKERATV.com. We would love to hear from you. Also, the podcast is available wherever you stream podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So tune in there as well. And as always, make sure you walk by faith and slay, plus pray each and every day because God, He will make a way. Love you guys so
We'll
much.
make a
Have a
way.
great day.